This programme consists of a series of short video clips for use in the classroom as activity starters. There are 5 groups of clips in total, and they can all be used as part of a cross-curricular lesson looking at the future of education and the role of teaching. The groups of clips are about teaching in the past, the present, and the future. For more ideas on running a Tomorrow's Teacher lesson, go to teachers.tv/tomorrow.
Stand still, back straight. Our hymn today is All Things Bright and Beautiful. All things bright and beautiful, all creatures great and small, all things wise and wonderful, the Lord God made. In the Victorian school, children who were absent would be noted, and any children who came late would be in very serious trouble and would probably be caned. Now it is time for our hand and shoe inspection. Please hold out your hands. Remember, children, cleanliness is next to godliness. Discipline was very strict. Sit up straight. We do not want children looking like question marks in this school. And that was all in preparation for when they went to work, because obviously the discipline at work would be probably much stricter than it was in school. 5 pennies add 9 pennies. How many does that come to? Yes, stand up please.
14.
14 pennies, well done. The lesson this morning is to order myself lowly and reverently before my betters. What you learn here applies to your working life.
I will try not to change my lot in life.
And your lot in life, children, is to become good, honest, hard-working, working-class citizens. Remember that you are born working class and you should not aspire to be anything else. The teaching was very teacher-intensive. The children were very passive. They just sat there and listened and answered questions when they were asked and so on. Close your books, please.
Undoubtedly, our educational system has come a long way since the days when school was merely a place to play truant from and to leave as soon as one could.
Someone's managed to find the punishment book for Bonner Street School, which is really quite interesting. Starts in 1928, and there's a whole set of rules in the front here about how it should be administered, and then it seemed to have been updated in 1952. Just flicking through, there's one here in December 56, where a very good friend of mine, Derek, taking sweets from another pupil's desk, it says he got 2 on the hand. Ah, truanting, that seems a bit harsh to get 1 on the hand for truanting. Using a water pistol. Filthy language, 4. I was a school governor for many years, and I mean the sort of things that children were being punished for in the 80s and 90s were far more serious than these things. I mean these today, I mean, would go unnoticed on the whole.
I take it that you're all in favour of remaining at school another year?
Yeah.
Did I hear some no's?
To an outsider, the most striking feature, apart from the normal academic syllabus, is the magnificent equipment in workrooms like this.
These are the sort of things that make my mouth water. I'm all for this kind of education. It's like taking out third-party insurance on mankind's future digestion.
I just want you to watch the board and see if you can work out what we're going to be learning about today. Naveen?
Medicine.
Medicines, fantastic, you're absolutely right. Does anybody recognise any of the medicines on here? Saichi, what do we call these?
Vitamins.
They could be vitamins, and what do vitamins do?
Help you.
Yeah, the vitamins help us, don't they? They help us, they stop us from getting ill, vitamins. What do we call this? An injection. A lot of the time we have an injection and it puts something into our bodies which stops us from getting some diseases. And it's actually called a vaccination. So first of all, you're thinking about why you were ill, how you were feeling. Then you were thinking about all the people, Tom, that helped you. And then on the back, how did you take your medicine? What type of medicine was it? And finally, how did it make you feel? Okay, what I want you to do is I want you to draw a picture to show you being ill. And then you can do some writing, you two, to go with it.
And then what does that mean, anti-inflammatory?
It's a medicine.
And what's it to do, do you know?
To stop things off getting too swollen.
Every chair should be turned around and it should be facing me. Bailey, why did you need to take medicine? What's in your first box? Why did you need to take medicine?
Tummy bug.
You had a tummy bug. Okay, brilliant. Thank you, Bailey. We were talking about the type of medicine that you had. Luke.
I had hay fever and I took it by this thing that went like that.
Is that to help you breathe?
I had to breathe out and in.
You had to breathe out and in. Oh, excellent. That's very interesting.
This one uses a strip of paper. You turn it into a loop. Okay. And here's the tricky bit. It's actually quite easy, really. You turn it over. Now, I use my sticky tape to join it together. You can put your scissors through it. And then all you do is start cutting. And you'll come back to where you started. There it is. Right, now, how many loops we got? 2. It's interesting, you know, that this weird shape doesn't turn into 2. It gets bigger. Weird, isn't it? Hands up who thinks they could do that. How many loops we're going to have, and everybody said 2, was because most people thought it would turn into 2 like this one does. But you've now seen that it doesn't do that. Why don't you do it? 1 turn, 2 turns, and then cut it again to see what happens. Yeah. 2 joined together. So that's different from what you did earlier, wasn't it?
Okay, today the aims of the lesson are to learn how to describe ourselves, what our hair colour is, what our eye colour is, and to describe also what other people look like. Okay, here we go. Blaue Augen.
Blaue Augen.
Blaue Augen.
Blaue Augen.
Blaue Augen.
Blaue
Ja,
Augen.
was sind sie? Was sind blaue Augen? Good, blue eyes. What I would like you to do, first of all, in your pairs or your threes, is to work out which of these headings goes with which of the paragraphs. I'm going to say a heading and then I'm going to pick your group and you need to tell me what does the paragraph start with. Chris, Julias Geburtstag.
Wie siehst du aus?
Does everybody agree?
No.
Good. Wie geht's? Yeah, because she's describing her birthday in that sentence. Now, what you're going to be doing is writing up a similar email, but this time it's going to be about you. Today, what you're going to be doing is what we call a carousel lesson. So there's 3 activities. One of them is a computer-based activity, one of them is a speaking activity, and one of them is a writing reading activity. So we're trying to cover the 4 skills. When you go to the computers, there's a website that's got online activities. When you're doing the speaking activity, I've got some famous people, some pictures, yeah, and you can describe to each other what these people look like. On the writing, there's some words in here, lots of different sentences. Using these words, you have to form different sentences. In each group, I am going to designate an expert. And that is one person who I think, if you're stuck and I'm busy, you could always ask and they might help you. So, got Ramia, Sophie and Sana, they can help if you are stuck.
Maybe that's two. It can be. Let's try and attach these together.
You're all going to be doing exactly the same activity, only with a different learning style. The visual style. Look at the Lego house in the picture. Okay? There are photographs there of a Lego house.
Right then, off you go.
Let's go Legos.
What colour? I'll find no more red. Yellow in and red six. We need to fill all of this along with white one. It's white.
Between the other three of the group, you need to agree out there what parts you're going to look for, then feed it back to Rachel, who Rachel's getting frustrated.
Go and have a look. This is top of this.
Are you listening to Daniel?
Yeah. I'm ready.
This is teamwork. This is brill.
Right, and then the ready. It's in the middle. I saw them go close to that one. There's a space.
How did you feel at the beginning? You know, when everybody was starting to build the house and things like that, and you weren't getting the instructions. What were you feeling at first? Were you feeling frustrated or annoyed or?
4 ready eats there. 4 ready eats.
Are you still feeling like that? Just concentration. It's fab, isn't it?
On your salt at home, unless you look specifically at the ingredients, it wouldn't, you know, it's not advertised as sodium chloride. Now, if I get the oil off, it means that the water's going to react with the surface. So I'll give it a good wipe with a bit of filter paper. So we'll put it in and we'll see. Okay? So a little bit of sodium and it goes. Now, straight away, you can see it's a reactive metal because remember, that's cold water. Can you see a gas being produced? Yeah.
One particular area of research is in digital paper. The idea being that you have something that is a relatively familiar device to you, it's something you can take with you and you can roll up or screw it up and put it in your pocket, but that it can display a whole range of media. However, there's no reason why that couldn't be automatically updated every time there's new content, and whether that be every 3 months or even updated daily with new stories as they emerge, or even someone's blog that's updated half daily or every hour.
Another real possibility is 3D simulators, which could become as common as interactive whiteboards.
Now, the sorts of reasons that's quite exciting is the way in which you can completely transform the space the learners are in, and you can take a classroom or you can take a classroom back in time and make it a Victorian classroom, for example. And you can have children wandering around the desks or looking at the relationship between their real environments and touching the tables and then looking at the virtual environment they're surrounded in. Or you can be going on some sort of expedition and looking at the Himalayas and doing things which you can't do inside a real classroom at the moment. However, you can begin to augment those classrooms and make those experiences, if not real, then richer, perhaps.
Data storage is also expanding rapidly. It could soon be possible to keep limitless amounts of information. An entire lifetime could be recorded.
One of the reasons you want to begin to collect experiences or data is to help you reflect on what you've been doing. So reflection is a very important part of learning, without question. But also so you can relate different experiences you've had in terms of sharing them with other people. Walking around Bristol Harbour, I walked past some really new, modern science equipment and buildings. And then as I turned right and walked up to the cathedral, it's like a 400-year-old building. That juxtaposition between the old and the new is really striking. So at the moment, I'm perhaps struggling to tell you exactly how it was, but if I could project that image to you somehow and help and talk you through my tour, then perhaps we can have a richer and more meaningful conversation about the things that I was thinking.
Here's Tyne Knowledge Park, which is on the top, on the 6th floor of a department store in Thailand. It's a place of milk bars, it's a place of performance, it's a place of family, creativity and performance and collaboration, and that's just the library. And you have to shin up there to get to the book, so some of you will have seen that before. It's just such fun. Look at this. This is the place they go to do their storytelling, and just by adding curtains and a window, you know, suddenly you're being swallowed by the whale for your learning. These are fabulous, fabulous learning spaces, and they're happening all over the world.
According to the Innovation Unit, the future is emerging here in Bedfordshire. At Biddenham Upper School, a unique experiment started 6 years ago when it became not so much a school as an optional resource. These pupils are all registered with the school, but they only attend lessons requiring specialist equipment. When the pupils are not at school, they're learning at home or going to other centres in the community, such as this gymnasium. More than 120 children are involved, each enrolled at either the upper school or a feeder lower school. It's allowed these two sisters, now coaching younger children, to develop their own talent as gymnasts to national level.
Show me your landing and stretch.
Matt, from Year 12, leaves to attend dance lessons, a skill he's now trying to teach to teachers.
They are very good pupils. My best one so far, after about 3 years of doing it, they're fantastic.
A different perspective on the future is found at this school in Massachusetts. Here the future must start by getting away from the past. The Sudbury Valley School has swept away everything that's connected with the beginning of mass education: classrooms, timetables and teachers. There are 200 on roll, aged between 4 and 19, and so long as they keep within the rules, they can spend their day doing whatever they please.
What are you going to do today?
The school is open between 8:30 and 5:30, but children can arrive at a time that suits them, so long as they stay for 5 hours. There are 11 members of staff employed by the school who keep an eye on the children and their activities.
I spend a lot of time walking around and just seeing what's going on, so that if people need anything, they can find somebody and get the help that they're looking for.
Do they ever ask you any questions?
Oh, sure. Sometimes they're more theoretical questions like, why are the leaves turning orange? And sometimes it might be a question about what to do about contesting a traffic ticket, or pretty much anything.